step into a world where history and true crime collide. We uncover the stories, the people, and the places behind some of the most gripping moments from the past. With cutting-edge AI-generated visuals, we breathe new life into these forgotten chapters, giving them a bold, modern twist you won't find anywhere else. Love history with a fresh edge? Hit subscribe and join us on this journey through time.
In the smoky shadows of post-war London, crime and politics collided in a scandal so dangerous it was buried for decades. At the heart of it, one of Britain's most feared gangsters, Ronnie Kray, and a conservative aristocrat with deep ties to power, Lord Robert Boothby. All began in the 1960s. Ronnie and Reggie Kray had already carved their names into the East End. The Kray twins were feared. But they're also becoming something more. Celebrity criminals. The charm, style and rise in influence attracted attention from high society, showbiz and even Westminster. Ronnie Kray, openly gay in a time where homosexuality was still illegal in the UK, moved in increasingly bold circles. He was flamboyant, unpredictable and dangerous. And it was during this time that he was introduced to Lord Boothby, a charismatic Conservative peer. He is a former MP of East Aberdeenshire and a TV personality with a scandalous private life. The pair met during a doomed investment scheme in Enugu, Nigeria, a housing and factory development project fronted by Ernest Shinwell, a son of a Labour MP. Ron Kray, convinced by his business manager Leslie Payne, invested thousands of pounds into this scheme. During negotiations, Kray was introduced to Boothby at the Houses of Parliament, where they both bonded over their shared interests of power, politics, and even young men. The Enugu venture proved to be disastrous, and mismanagement and corruption and clashes with local contractors led to arrests and passport seizures. Leslie Payne and Freddie Gore were detained, while Charlie Kray had to raise thousands in cash to get them released. Ronnie and Reggie Kray were out their depth and forced to rely on people who they barely knew and were hemorrhaging money. The failed project planted the seed of disillusionment and paranoia in Ron Kray's mind, a sense that others were exploiting his power and that he needed new allies. Boothby, known among elite circles as bisexual, had a long affair with Dorothy Macmillan, wife of future Prime Minister Harold Macmillan. The relationship was an open secret in political circles, damaging Boothby's career and staining Harold Macmillan's private life. It was also even rumoured that Boothby fathered Dorothy's youngest daughter, Sarah. The scandal didn't end their friendship, and Macmillan was knighted Boothby in 1958. So Boothby was no stranger to controversy. He had resigned the junior ministerial post during World War II of allegations of a financial matter, and was suspected of communist and fascist sympathies by MI5. Was involved in an array of affairs with both young men and women. His private life was chaotic, and he retained a loyal public following thanks to his charm and his appearances on programs like This Is Your Life and the BBC's Any Questions. But behind the scenes, he was playing a much more dangerous game. Boothby entered a relationship with Leslie Holt, a handsome young cat burglar from Stepney. Holt became his lover and chauffeur. MI5 files later revealed that Boothby gifted him luxury cars, including an E-Type Jag and a Ferrari. Together they frequented London's gay underworld, and it was through Holt that Boothby was introduced to Ronnie Kray. What led was a bizarre and dangerous alliance. Boothby and Kray began attending sex parties together, mingled with rent boys, underworld figures and political elites. The worlds definitely collided here. The photograph that caused the scandal, Ronnie Kray, Lord Boothby and Leslie Holt sharing drinks, was taken in Cedar Cedar Court, the Krays' Hackney residence. Even though no names were printed in the July 1964 Sunday Mirror expose, the implications was obvious, and Scotland Yard was investigating a peer and a gangster. Boothby, horrified, contacted Labour MP Tom Dryburgh, a fellow homosexual and known attendee of the Kray parties. Dryburgh had his own secrets to protect, with a general election looming. Prime Minister Harold Wilson couldn't afford a scandal that linked his party to criminal activity and illicit sex. Both Conservative and Labour leadership wanted this story gone. Labour's solicitor, Arnold Goodman, made legal threats. The Sunday Mirror editor Cecil King was sacked. The paper published a full apology and paid Boothby a sum of £40,000. That was pretty much a staggering sum in 1964, which would be equivalent to over £1 million today, and it was humiliation for the press. And a warning shot to other media outlets. The Krays had establishment protection. MI5, meanwhile, had already complied a thick file on Boothby. A self-confessed homosexual informant described Boothby and the Krays as hunters of young men. Boothby, the report, had attended parties with Holt and the Krays for over a year. Still, the MI5 director, Roger Hollis, concluded there was no security risk as Boothby held no sensitive position in government. But the political cost was enormous. The Profumo affair had just rocked the Conservative Party, and another sex scandal that this time involved cross-party figures, a gangster, a well-known cat blogger, would dissipate the remainder of the public trust. The cover-up worked. Boothby began appearing in public life. He married Wanda Sana, a Sardinian woman, 33 years his junior, in 1967. But behind closed doors he remained deeply entangled with the Krays. He stood up for them in the House of Lords during the criminal proceedings, and his endorsement allowed them to assume ownership of El Morocco Club. So the Krays became more violent. A sense of invincibility born from political immunity helped them to spiral. In 1966, Ronnie shot George Connell in the Blind Beggar pub. Reggie stabbed Jack the Hat McVitie to death in 1967. The fall came swiftly. They were arrested in 1968 and convicted in 1969. The twins were sentenced to a life in prison. Ronnie declared criminal insane and died at Broadmoor Hospital in 1995, and Reggie died in the 2000s. Leslie Holt, Boothby's lover, died during a suspicious surgery performed by Dr. Kells. The doctor was charged with murder but was mysteriously acquitted. Teddy Smith, another Kray social and reputed informant, vanished without a trace in 1968. Boothby, for his part, lived up to the age of 86, dying in 1986. He never faced public reckoning, but his legacy lives on as the most surreal examples of power, privilege and crime intertwining in modern British history. In 2009, Channel 4 aired The Gangster and the Pervert Peer, a documentary that confirmed the long-whispered truths. In 2020, Daniel Smith's book, The Peer and the Gangster, laid bare the cover-up using MI5 files, interviews and parliamentary records. Smith argued that the true scandal wasn't the sex or the associations, it was a conspiracy of silence that protected him. And that conspiracy of silence that shielded not Boothby, but Ronnie Kray. A conspiracy that let violence continue unchecked in the heart of London. That's not a tale of the peer and the gangster. There's a cautionary tale about the cost of complicity, the danger of power, and without accountability, the way truth can be buried to protect the privileged few. That is one of the most shocking things about this. But again, thanks for watching. If you want to hear more untold stories where history and true crime, please hit the like and subscribe button and join us in the next adventure.